Ideal mesmo pro mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação pro Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo! Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
Hello, Halflings! George Primavera here to tell you about Three Black Halflings, a conversational comedy podcast hosted by Jasper Cartwright, Olivia Kennedy, and Jeremy Cobb. Three nerdy friends with strong opinions and even stronger charisma scores. Having grown up in different corners of the world, they bring a diverse range of perspectives as they talk about their experiences as people of color in pop culture fandoms, D&D, and the TTRPG community. Born of a love of all things nerdy, all three of them share personal and often hilarious stories, challenge typical fantasy tropes, and tackle diversifying fantasy, all whilst discussing the things they love. From Lord of the Rings to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, playing your first tabletop role-playing game, or advice for seasoned adventurers, there's something for everyone. They've brought on an array of guests from all around the roleplay community and beyond, including Christina Ariel, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Jake Hurwitz, Lou Wilson, and many more. The list goes on and on. Join them in their quest to explore diversity in the incredible worlds of D&D and pop culture through thought-provoking conversations and good times. Subscribe to Three Black Halflings on Apple, Spotify, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Monday and Thursday. So long, Shire folk! Welcome to the Reslayer's Take. I'm George Primavera.
And I'm Nick Williams. In this podcast, George and I lead a group of players through an exciting improvised adventure in Exandria, the magical world of Critical Role.
We're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but you won't need to know the rules to follow along. All you need to know is that nothing the players do is scripted or planned, and their fates are determined by their own cleverness and the random chance of rolling a 20-sided die.
You can listen to new episodes of The Reslayer's Take every Monday, anywhere you stream podcasts.
Or if you want to listen to the podcast 2 weeks early and uninterrupted by ads, join Beacon at beacon.tv.
Last but certainly not least, if you're enjoying the story, please consider leaving a rating and review. Your feedback might inspire someone new to join this adventure.
Now, without further ado,
welcome to the Reslayer's Take.
The steep path up into the Utaspire mountain range grows more and more narrow, the journey lasting just the few hours it takes for midnight to arrive. A flurry of snowflakes fall onto everyone's shoulders, melting as they make contact. Eventually, the party reaches a small cave only about 20 feet deep, hewn into the cliffside. It is well hidden by a grove of dry, brambly trees, leafless, but still thick enough to hide your presence should you desire to sit here.
I think this is a pretty good spot to make camp for today. Everybody okay with that?
Just to be safe, why don't we take some watches? Pooks and I can go first, and Hera, Farah, Frog?
I don't need as much time to rest, so I could take a longer shift.
In that case, why don't we keep our watches kind of short, and after 6 hours, you can take the rest of the night?
I think that's a great plan.
Okay, great. Hera.
Hera is already asleep.
Oh, okay.
Her eggs safely perched next to her pillow.
As you all move into the cave, all of a sudden, your weapons alight. Hera is shocked awake by her rapier activating.
Farah goes completely still, trying to hear whether or not anything is approaching.
Make a perception check.
24.
Farah, outside, you suddenly start to hear ethereal tones, almost musical in nature. As you walk outside, all of you stare out across the mountain peaks and see something surprisingly beautiful. It almost looks like a massive swarm of floating jellyfish, gently making their way through the air with little pulsing pushes, their tentacles drifting out behind them. These creatures are clearly made of spectral energy, but even as they approach the cave, they simply float past it. They do not acknowledge you whatsoever.
Whoa, that's so beautiful.
Everyone make either a religion or an arcana check.
13.
17.
Natural 20.
17.
Hera eagerly crawls forward on all fours and whispers to everyone, "They're eidolons. They're nature spirits. They rarely show themselves
They're ghosts.
Wow. They sure are pretty.
Frog quietly pulls out her journal and starts to sketch the eidolons.
They continue to float by, almost unendingly moving past you. This continues for quite a while, until sleep tugs at your eyelids. These glowing jellyfish create an incredibly serene landscape.
Frog rests against the wall of the cave and goes into a restful state.
Hera goes to sleep, readying herself to be up in 3 hours to take second watch.
Hera moves her bedroll so that she can watch the eidolons drift about as she drifts off to sleep.
As you all sleep, eventually, Poogs moves to Hera and gently wakes her. Hey, your watch.
Okay.
Timpani fell asleep.
Of course he did. Hera gets up and takes second watch.
As you move out of the cave, the jellyfish continue to float above your head, your crossbow lit at your side. You pass Frog, who is staring outward, motionless, in a semi-powered down state.
That's always so creepy.
Hera, make a perception check.
Natural 1.
Hera, as you walk out of the cave into the grove of bare trees, you feel something smack into your forehead.
Hera jerks back to see what hit her.
You feel a wet piece of paper stuck to your forehead, like a spitball.
Hera takes the spitball and unravels it.
There is a note on the spitball. Come down the mountain. I have a present for my favorite customer/tester, FW.
Hera takes out the box with the EpiPen and compares the handwriting.
They are identical.
Hera goes back into the cave to see if Poogs has fallen asleep yet.
Hey, Poogs.
What?
Can you cover my shift for like 30 minutes?
Yeah, is everything okay?
We'll see.
Hera, as you leave the cave, walking down the path from whence you came, you suddenly see, rounding the corner after about 5 minutes of walking, a gigantic wooden wagon with a propped-up shop front that reads, Dr. Fitzwaggle's Funtastic Pharmacy Express. And as you approach, suddenly popping out from inside of the wagon is the very familiar face of Dr. Fitzwaggle.
Well, if it isn't my favorite customer and tester, I'm so happy you came. How was the Insta-Jam?
Here's the thing. Did it work? Yes. Did it work as you described? No.
What did I say different?
You said it would only last an hour, and it was there for like 2.
Concern it, I thought I fixed the old getting stuck in the jam. Did you wind up getting out of the jam?
Yeah, but I had to do it. Like, it was my brain.
Well, then I definitely picked the right tester for the job. What was the application? When did you do it?
Well, you see, there was a giant rock slide, and I was tossed from it, and I was like, I'd rather not, take the full impact. And without thinking, I just stuck it in my thigh.
Wow, that is the best kind of in-the-field testing I've ever heard. None of my previous testers have ever been willing to be thrown off a cliff in order to test my products before.
I wouldn't say willing.
So what happened when you hit the ground?
I splattered into jam.
Perfect!
How did you know I was here?
I can always track the rough location of where my potion bottles have gone. I initially implemented that protocol for thieves and the like, but it works pretty good for testers too, because I have a new one for you.
Okay, before we get to that, the risk-reward is not proportionate.
I'm way ahead of you. You're gonna get a raise. How does 10 gold sound?
How does 15 sound?
Perfect! I was prepared to go up to 20. It's a deal! Dr. Fitzwaggle turns around and rifles through a bunch of bottles before slamming down a large old flask. This is Dr. Fitzwaggle's patented liquid nesting doll. All you gotta do is drink it before you're in any sort of tussle. And if you get knocked down, it'll give you diminishing returns on replenished health. You'll keep popping back up and back up and back up. A little less powerful each time, but you'll be popping up for sure.
Will I be smaller every time?
That's the idea. Smaller in health, that is.
Money, potion.
Dr. Fitzwaggle hands over the flask and begins counting out the gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just dump it. I'll count it.
All right, here you go. That should be around 15.
It is 26 gold.
There's only 13 here.
Oh, my mistake. 1, 2, 15.
Great, thanks. Farah pockets it and looks over the cart, trying to see if there's any healing potions in there.
Roll a perception check.
12.
Not a single one. Every bottle is completely unmarked.
Okay. I'll test this out. And here, she pulls out the old box with the jam pen. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Farah trudges back up the mountain.
See you next time, Dr. Fitzwaggle.
The caravan immediately packs itself up in a cartoonish fashion. Dr. Fitzwaggle pops up from a panel underneath the seat, landing on it. And the wagon begins to travel back down the mountain path. As you return, you see Poogs and Frog outside.
Everything good?
Yeah, you can go to sleep now.
Okay, I'm so tired.
And Poogs returns to bed. You continue the rest of your watch. Some time passes. Hera, in your deep sleep, you feel a hand move your shoulder, waking you, and you see Timpani above you.
Hey, Hera, sorry to wake you. It's your time for a watch.
Okay. Hera crawls out of her bedroll, dragging it behind her and covering her shoulders with it, like a cape.
Mind if I sit with you for a second?
Of course.
It's kind of a heavy day.
Yeah, I agree. Are you okay?
I'm okay. It's just, it's hard having this kind of found family. I'm not used to it either. I've been on my own except for Poogs for a long time, and families are messy, you understand.
She nods her head slowly. I do. I don't think I'm very good at it.
Good at what? What do you mean?
Not being alone.
Yeah, I understand, for sure. Not to pry or anything, and feel free to not tell me, but what's the deal with your family back home? When was the last time you saw them?
Well, haven't seen my mother in person since I was a little girl.
Wow. That's gotta be hard.
My family, we were not really close, I was mostly raised by my sister because, the captain was always really busy too.
The captain's your father? And, just one more question, and, again, feel free to tell me, it's not my business, but do you think he's as disgusted with you as I am?
Hera, as you turn to Timpani in shock, he is gone. As you look behind you, so are all of your friends. The cave is empty. The jellyfish are gone from the sky, and all of the logs around you slowly begin to burn from the ground up. Your tattoos begin to sear on your skin as the vegetation of the entire Demethor Valley disintegrates into ash.
Your weakness makes me sick.
Appearing through a fog in the landscape, a frighteningly tall being, clad in black, spiked armor, with a helm that is both horned and crowned, dressed with filigree and bones. Roll a religion check.
9.
You are at a loss. The 40-foot-tall being expands and grows to the size of the mountain itself, and you see flooding around its feet hundreds of thousands of berserking soldiers streaming their way towards you.
If you are afraid, command them to stop.
And you realize you are holding your family horn in your hands.
But I'm not afraid.
Liar! Will you stand idly by, or will you command as you are meant to?
Why me?
You were promised by your mother.
Why not Sona or Neil?
Your siblings renounced me long ago, But not you, Hera. You let me in.
The berserkers are climbing the edge of the mountain, some of them falling off hundreds of feet, unthinking.
She drops the horn to the ground and crushes it with her hoof.
It does not break.
This is no creature's illusion. You cannot wish me away. I am your emperor!
And Hera is woken with a start.
It's your turn.
Still in the cave, covered in sweat, the jellyfish gently floating by outside. Hera, as you look around, having woken up, you see Timpani to your side, dead asleep.
Her eyes linger on him.
Farah gives Hera a knowing look, giving her an opening to talk if she wants. You good?
Grabbing her blanket and pulling it over her head, Hera just says softly, "No, Farah. I'm very, very, very bad."
And now for a brief intermission.
So, what's the mark?
The Eye of Kithiska. From the world of Dragon Age comes a new tale.
The Eye was crafted centuries ago by a powerful dreamer.
Listen to me. You've been tricked. We have to put this back and leave.
I'm sorry, but I won't let you pay for my mistakes.
The Eye will destroy you.
Dragon Age, Vows and Vengeance. Listen and subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
Hey listeners, what if you, like our inquisitive Aormaton frog, learned something genius every single day? In the podcast, Am I the Genius? You'll dive into a world of collective experiences, each with a comedic spin. Am I the Genius is a show that explores a wide range of topics from what's a rule at your school that backfired to the moment that made a calm person snap. With new episodes every day, the show brings you a mix of humor and insight as it delves into these fascinating stories. Hosted by a team that knows how to keep things entertaining, Am I the Genius invites listeners to submit their own stories and join the fun. Whether it's a wild story from a doctor about surgeries gone wrong or the most offensive thing someone has ever said, this podcast is sure to keep you hooked. Check out one of their recent episodes where you'll hear answers to questions like, what were some of your most horrifying gaming moments? And Zookeepers, what are the best and worst animals to take care of? You're sure to hear the craziest responses you've ever heard. Am I the Genius brings you hilarious and thought-provoking stories every day. Don't miss it. Listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, everybody? It's George from the Reslayer's Take. Hey, do you remember that feeling of your first critical hit? Or are you one of those people who are getting ready to start their first journey? I have a show for you. It's called Girls Who Don't D&D, because none of this all-female team of players had ever joined a D&D game before, or any other role-playing game. They go from learning which dice is what to challenging the gods themselves. They are surrounded by a beautiful and chaotic environment that has been described as a cross between Terry Pratchett's Discworld and Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's a world you can be a part of too. That's because their listeners perform pre-recorded sections that fit into each show. How cool is that? Those parts and the rest of the show sound amazing, with carefully added music and effects that bring a touch of the cinematic to your experience. I think the most amazing thing is that they were complete amateurs when they started, and you should really hear how far they've come. It really does make you feel like you're sitting at the table with them. You can join this group of unassuming Australians, otherwise known as the Girls Who Don't D&D, on any device that lets you stream podcasts. But I'm warning you, this one is addictive, heartwarming, and heartbreaking, and very, very funny. And I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye! Now back to the show. After a night of strange occurrences, Frog stands alone at the edge of the cave, the bonfire still lit and casting some waning heat on her resting companions. The sun has just begun to rise over the eastern mountain peaks. The compass still points to one static direction, further west.
Seeing that morning has come, Frog puts away her journal and goes to wake up her friends. She looks towards Timpani and pats him on the shoulder.
Oh, hey, good morning, Frog.
Good morning, Timpani. How'd you sleep?
I slept like a rock. I just fell straight down, face down on the ground, and just didn't move again.
Frog finds Poogs and shakes him awake.
Poogs, time for breakfast.
Oh, hey, good morning, Frog. Hey, Timpani, you think what I'm thinking?
Timpani slowly wipes the sleep out of his eyes. Yep, good berry pancakes. You get the batter ready, and I'll get the good berries.
Hera, wake up! They're making pancakes. Pancakes.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
As Hera wakes up, her exhaustion level is reduced to 2 points.
Hera crawls out of bed, limbs still feeling heavy, drags herself to the edge of the campfire with her blanket still wrapped around her shoulders. Why are you so excited for pancakes? You can't eat food.
Well, actually, I figured out that I can eat. It just, nothing happens when I do, and it doesn't taste like anything.
But isn't that kind of the point?
Oh, that you taste food, you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe one of my new pieces will come with some kind of taste buds or something.
No, I really hope one of your pieces is not a tongue, because that's disgusting.
I hope it is a tongue, because food is one of the few pleasures in life.
Hera, I didn't realize you were such a foodie.
Yeah, I like good food.
Well, then you're gonna love these pancakes.
Timpani, still half asleep, pulls out a sprig of mistletoe from his pocket, pulls it through his palm, and as he does, he says, "Let's see those good berries," and 10 little red berries appear on the stem. As he casts Goodberry, he untucks the bottom of his dusty shirt and uses it as a makeshift basket, plucking the berries off one at a time and collecting them.
Poogs sets about getting the batter ready and incorporating the magical good berries from Timpani's spell, which he brings over to the camp. Poogs rolls a dirty 20 on his chef's tools check to make some actually fantastic pancakes. The pancakes sit like rocks in your stomach for a moment, but then become broadly satisfying. Everyone in the party is satiated for 24 hours, thanks to the magical quality of the good berries.
Hera takes her fork and takes one of the pancakes off of Timpani's plate and puts it onto hers, side-eyeing him as she does so.
Is something wrong? If you want more flapjacks, you can just ask for them.
I need my strength. Her eyes stay fixed on Timpani's.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think we all need our strength to climb this mountain.
Hera, roll an insight check.
13.
Timpani seems completely oblivious to your suspicion, but there's something about his face that just reminds you of the horrible dream that you had last night, and you cannot shake it.
All you need to know is that I'm watching you. And maybe you didn't do anything, but just know I'm watching you when you're awake, when you're asleep, when you think you're alone and you use your filthy shirt to gather berries. I'm always there, perched in the shadows, watching you.
Wow, Timpani, what did you do?
I mean, I guess I could have used a different basket than the shirt. I didn't think that was such a big deal. I mean, it's just covered in dirt, just like the berries.
Your shirt's a lot more than dirt. It's gross.
Yeah, Timpani, let's not do that anymore. That made Hera really mad.
Hera, my sincerest apologies about the dirty shirt. I won't do it again.
Frog, is your compass still pointing the same way?
Yes, it's still pointed westward.
Okay, everybody ready? Should we get going? The faster we find this piece, the faster we get back to Vasselheim and figure out what Heldwell's up to.
Before we set out, I really just want to say thank you all. I couldn't do it without you.
What are friends for? Hera says, drawing her blanket closer around her shoulders.
Hey, Hera, watch me drag this wagon.
Oh, I intend to. She climbs into the driver's seat and places one unsettling hand on Timpani's shoulder.
Oh, you're just gonna hold my... Hey, great. Timpani picks up the wagon yoke and begins to walk.
The party moves up the mountain, following the compass further into the towering snow-capped peaks. As they walk, the path widens and flattens into a ridge, where there is a mound of sticks plopped into the center of the path about 4 feet high. And sitting within this mound, as you come up onto it, are 4 round objects. Everyone make a nature check.
17.
21. 19.
29.
Poogs rolls a dirty 20. Immediately, everyone can tell that this is some kind of enormous nest. Hera, Timpani, and Poogs realize that it is some kind of gigantic bird's nest, and that those round objects in the middle are eggs. Timpani is the only one who knows exactly what this nest belongs to.
Oh, this is not a great place to be standing. I think that's a rock nest.
A rock nest? What do you mean, a rock nest?
Not rock like a stone, rock like a giant bird.
What? There are giant birds that are rocks?
No, they're not made of rocks, they're just called rocks.
Why would you call something a rock if it's not a rock?
Yeah, does it look like a rock?
No, it just looks like a big eagle, but I don't know why. Somebody called them rocks. It's not spelled exactly the same.
Can we get back to why we shouldn't be standing here?
Oh yeah, we should not be standing here. These eggs are here. That can only mean one thing. The mama's gotta be close.
One of the eggs twitches in the nest.
Hera rushes over to it, placing one warm hand on it. Oh, there you are.
Don't touch those! Don't touch those!
Something protrudes from the egg a bit. Some kind of soft, fleshy beginnings of a beak. And a little eggshell drops into the nest.
Oh! It's hungry. Timpani, what do you have?
An adorable baby rock pokes its head out of the egg.
Aw, who knew a rock could be so cute?
I think maybe we should adopt it.
Are you talking about taking eggs from an active rock nest? We're not gonna take these eggs.
Well, not all of them.
Ferris scans the surroundings, trying to discern whether or not the mama rock has been around here recently.
Roll a perception check, Farah.
Nat 1.
Farah, you scan the mountaintop. It is tranquil, peaceful. There is no sound whatsoever.
I think we're good.
And then the sun is blotted out by something shielding it from view. Swooping down from high in the sky, an enormous, tremendous eagle-like creature, the Mama Rock, slams down into the nest, extending its wings aggressively to make itself as big as it possibly can. The rock is covered in a plume of red, blue, and white feathers, with a face like a mix between an eagle and a vulture. It stands at least 20 feet tall, towering over all of you. Immediately, the one baby rock that has hatched begins opening its mouth looking for food, but the mother is unconcerned, one of its taloned feet lifting up aggressively.
I think we should go.
Hera pushes the egg into Timpani's hands and cautiously dips under the lip of the nest.
Hera, roll a sleight of hand check.
15.
The egg appears in Timpani's hands.
Oh, jeez-a-loo!
Hera, roll a stealth check.
Nat 1.
The rock immediately sees Hera try to move away, and it slams a taloned foot down on top of Hera. Hera, make an acrobatics check or an athletics check.
22.
Hera is easily able to roll out of the way as the taloned foot slams down on a bundle of sticks, and the rock then bears down on Timpani.
Farah waits for a moment for the rock to open its mouth.
It lifts its head, appearing ready to slam its beak down on Timpani, opening it slightly.
Farah takes the mushy cupcakes from her pocket, packs it into a large snowball-sized mound, and throws it into the open maw.
Roll an attack.
6.
The massive cupcakes slap into the rock's white feathered chest uselessly.
It's yummy, you should eat it.
Not wanting to hurt the mother of these extremely cute babies, Hera carefully appraises the mother rock.
Roll an insight check.
18.
As you scan the frantic mother rock, you see that clutched in its other taloned foot are a host of recently hunted, very large rodents. It clearly returned to its nest with the intent to feed its now hatching babies.
Hera quickly whispers to the others,
It looks like she just wants to feed her kids.
and using thaumaturgy, creates the sound of another baby rock crying. just a few feet away.
Roll a deception check with advantage.
26.
The mother rock's head snaps to the source of the sound, flaps its wings out, lifting off the ground and slamming back down, halfway between where her current babies are and where she thinks the sound is coming from. She is no longer adjacent to the party.
Using her remaining movement, Hera carefully moves further down the path.
Hera is able to move only 15 feet due to her halved movement speed.
We gotta let this mom take care of her babies.
Frog steps towards Timpani and grabs the egg from his arms. She carefully places it back in the nest and then runs as far as she can down the path.
As Frog runs, the mama rock, seeing Frog touch her egg, slams back on top of the nest, screeching down at Timpani, still standing next to the clutch of eggs. The rock swipes at Timpani with one massive talon. Timpani takes 24 points of slashing damage and is immediately grappled in the rock's talon. He is brought down to 78 points of health. Poogs leaps to save Timpani,
Oh no.
jumping for the cupcake mush splattered across the rock's chest.
I got you, buddy. Yeah.
Poogs gathers up as much of the cupcake residue as he can,
Try this.
and Poogs rolls an 18 to throw as much of the cupcake into the rock's mouth as possible, an amount equivalent to half a dozen sleepy cupcakes. The rock swallows the cupcake as it is launched past the beak, and then the rock's eyes roll up into the back of its skull, and it tumbles forward, slamming into the nest, dead asleep. The eggs are uncrushed. Timpani is released as the rock sleeps.
Okay, Timpani, let's get out of here. I can't believe that worked.
Just hold on. It's our fault that we disturbed this nest. I just want to make sure the baby's okay. Timpani kneels down to the one hatched rock fledgling, reaches into one of his dirty pockets, and pulls out a couple of leftover good berries, and gingerly feeds the bird. Now, when Mama wakes up, tell her that we weren't that bad, okay? Tell her we didn't mean to do any of this.
Timpani, roll a stealth check.
Natural 20.
Timpani gingerly gets back up from kneeling in the nest, the rock mama undisturbed.
Okay, let's get out of here. Come on.
Timpani and Poogs begin to creep out of the nest, leaving Hera behind.
Before leaving, Hera thinks back on her adventures, trying to remember if she's run into a rock before.
Roll a history check.
23.
Only once has Hera encountered a fully grown rock before, but it was from very far away, watching one take down a galleon by itself. As it struck from the sky, the pirates that you saw beset upon by the rock were absolutely powerless to stop it, and their small weapons did very little to repel it. These are ferocious predators. Hera, roll a nature check.
15.
To date, you cannot recall any situation in which a rock has shown any kind of obedience or even indifference to human or similar trespassers.
Hera dashes out.
Hera, roll a stealth check.
14.
And Hera silently creeps out of the nest. The mother rock is not disturbed, and the babies, as they begin to hatch one after another, slowly begin to crawl towards the rodents in their mother's claw, feasting.
Timpani ducks back in to leave the last of the good berries at the edge of the nest.
Timpani, roll a stealth check.
25.
And a small pile of berries is left on the corner of the nest.
There you go, buddies.
And the Reslayers leave the sleeping rock behind. The Reslayers continue moving away from the rock's nest, catching their breath after their close encounter.
Sheesh, Hera. Let's hope when your egg hatches, whatever comes out isn't half as big as that thing.
Yeah, here, I actually wanted to ask about the egg. And feel free to tell me if it's none of my business, but...
Hera collapses on the ground and starts crying.
Look what you did.
What did I say?
Timpani, what did you say?
I'm so sorry. I thought I was being polite by saying that it could be none of my business and, letting her tell me that she doesn't have to tell me about it.
My arms feel heavy and I'm covered in these gross tattoos and I don't want to be here. supposed to be us because we're losers. We weren't ever supposed to make it this far, and now we're here.
Did you think we were gonna die?
I don't know. This just seems so out of our league, and Vera hit me in the head with a rock, and I thought she was my friend, and then she lied to me about it. But then when I lie, people get so mad at me for no reason. And my horn is broken. It's probably never gonna grow back. I'm gonna be like that one boy in the village who has those crooked horns. It's probably karma because I used to call him Crooks, and now I'm gonna be Crooks. I used to be beautiful.
Hera, you know your favorite color is gold. I bet we could find an amazing artisan who could craft you a beautifully gilded golden horn to complete your look.
Maybe.
Yeah, I barely spent any of my money from Timpani's cousin. I'd be happy to contribute.
Same here. I don't know if it helps the situation all, but I sketched this.
Frog holds out her journal, showing off an elaborate group hug between the 5 of them.
When did this happen?
Last night when I was on guard.
We all hugged last night while you were on guard?
Oh, no, sorry. I guess it's kind of a dream or a goal. Something to look forward to. I thought maybe it might help diffuse the situation.
We could all try it. Should we all do big group hug?
I'll supervise.
You'll supervise from right in the middle of this hug. And Timpani throws his arms around Farah.
Farah tries to dodge it.
Farah, roll an acrobatics check.
4.
Farah gets wrapped up in the group hug as everyone piles on top of Hera.
Hera is too weak to resist.
Woohoo! It's happening! My dream!
I think it's great. We should do this all the time.
I kind of like it.
And Hera, I promise you, what you see is what you got. There's literally nothing going on beneath the surface here. Timpani points at his own head.
Hera, roll an insight check.
Natural 1.
Despite Timpani's friendly face, you still cannot shake the dreadful feelings from the dream the night before.
Farah pulls away from Timpani's hug.
Why do you smell like shrimp?
Timpani smells himself. Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't get a chance to shower when we broke for...
There is a very distant boom, far to the west.
What was that?
It's coming from the direction of the compass.
Another explosion, far in the distance.
Farah stays completely still, trying to discern whether or not she's heard this boom before.
Roll a perception check.
16.
Farah, due to your past history on ships at sea, you recognize the sound of an explosive boom, sort of analogous to cannon fire.
That's not a natural sound. Poogs, is there a body of water in the Issylra mountain potentially big enough for a ship?
I know there are some bigger lakes and rivers that run through the mountain range, but I've never seen like a real big ship before, just little ones.
Well, I mean, how do we feel about finding out what the boom is? Or are we feeling taking a break?
Well, I think that's up to Hera.
I don't think I would feel comfortable sleeping with weird sounds. We should take a look.
Let's take a look.
All right, let's head down the trail.
As the rest of the party moves forward, Farah pulls Hera aside.
So you good?
Hera gingerly pulls the egg from her pouch.
I got this for you, and I was going to take care of it for you until it hatched. We're good if you let me keep it.
Great, you can have it. All right, now that we figured out your issues, let's go.
The Reslayers continue along the Issylra mountain pass, moving in a northwestern direction along the increasingly icy and snowy landscape. The sparse trees become evergreen trees, lush with pine needles and covered in icicles. Down to the right, they see the lush Demethor Valley, And to the left, another valley that sits within the Utaspire mountain range. Far, far in the distance, you can see the more deserty peaks of the Utaspire Mountains where you discovered the Horde Hive, now the Hug Hive. As you move, everyone make a perception check.
25.
19.
6.
8.
Poogs rolls a 6. There is another boom as you travel forward, much louder, and this one shakes the earth under your feet. Hera, you know that this explosion is much larger than that of a cannon. Something is moving and heaving the earth. Someone or something is blasting the mountain apart. You see rocks tumble from the peak all the way down to the valley below.
Hera tries to scan around to see the source of the booming.
You do not see the source of the explosions themselves, but you do see a teeny tiny bright spot once the sun sets at the end of your long day's journey. A gas lamp, creating a pinprick of light in the distance, hangs on a post next to a tiny log cabin that seems to be built into the side of a mountain peak about a mile away.
Someone lives up here?
Yeah, wow, how'd they get so lucky? What a great spot for a cabin.
Do you think we should make camp there?
I mean, we could get there in 30 minutes, but if we really want to do this right, it'll take 2 hours. Just to be completely safe. I'll leave it up to you guys, but it might help to approach under cover of darkness.
Well, by the time those 2 hours are done, I think the sun will be completely down.
Okay, yeah, let's be as safe as we can then.
Everyone make an acrobatics check or an athletics check as you carefully make your way across the icy path over the course of the next 2 hours.
Hera turns her boots to the light setting, hoping it'll help with the mountainous cliff. 21.
18.
17.
17.
Poogs rolls a 17 as well.
It's really cold up here.
Timpani takes off his barn coat and puts it on Poogs. Just, steer clear of the pockets. There might be some living stuff in there.
Sure thing.
Poogs continues along the back of the barn coat, dragging along the ground like the train of a great big dress. Finally, the Reslayers get closer and closer to the cabin, able to make it out completely now. It seems truly set into the side of the cliff, the front of it held up by posts that create a stilt-like porch. There is a rickety wooden staircase, 400 stairs strong, that leads all the way up to the front door. And the bottom of that staircase rests at the end of a gravel pathway. The booms have receded, and the landscape has gone quiet.
396, 397, 398, 399, 400. Whoa, there's 400 stairs.
That's a lot of stairs.
Oh, look, there's a sign up ahead.
Poogs points to a wooden sign that is sticking out of the ground to the side of the gravel pathway.
I can't read the writing, though.
Hera looks at the sign.
Hera, roll a history check.
Dirty 20.
The sign appears to be written in Dwarvish. Hera, you are able to read the sign no problem.
What's it say?
It says that you cannot trespass, or otherwise you'll be thrown from the top of the mountain.
Maybe bad news, maybe good news, but, my compass seems to be pointing right up those stairs and into that house.
Let's knock on the door and see what happens. No way whoever it is can throw all of us off the mountain. Right?
The Reslayer's Take is a Metapigeon production in partnership with and distributed by Critical Role Productions, developed in association with Hero Club. Game mastered and produced by George Primavera and Nick Williams, featuring Nick Williams as Timpani Guff, George Primavera as Poogs, Jasmine Bhullar as Hera Agnihart, Jasmine Chiong as Hera, and Caroline Lux as Frog. Also featuring Travis Willingham as the Strife Emperor. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Do you think he's as disgusted with you as I am?
I try to lean back in it. This is why she doesn't ever talk to anybody about her feelings, because she did this one time and look what happened.